Okay, so we're just testing the leads to see what the meter error is. This is set at 200 ohms. And it'll settle out here. It's about 0.3, 0.2, 0.3, somewhere in that range. So I'm gonna assume it's 0.2 because that's the lowest number. So I'm going to test the battery cable connection at the frame, so the chassis ground, and I'm connecting one lead to the cable loop and the other to a place on the frame that I've wire brushed off. It's still traveling around here, so. Point 3. 0.2. So with the meter error of 0.2, and I'm able to get this to 0.2, it's essentially a 0 ohm resistance, so maybe 0.1 ohm. So pretty good connection there. For the tail lights, and I'm looking at the back end of the Corvette. I've removed the spare tire to make it easier to get up in here. What you're seeing is the tail pan here. I've got a light source, and that's the muffler. If you come up a little bit here, you'll see the ground for the tail lights and also for the antenna. They're connected together with a strap. What I've done is take a little bit of the rust off the chassis, and I'm going to use this as the test point. I've also, if you look up here in the back, you'll see that if I get a little bit closer, I've scraped a little bit of paint off this nut, or the rust off the nut, and I'm going to use that as a test point as well. And so I'm going to be able to test the entire connection from the chassis ground up to the component ground. So I'll be putting the test probe for the component ground on the top of the nut here, where I've taken the rust off just like this. And then on the chassis ground side, I'm going to be putting the probe on the chassis itself, where I've cleaned off the surface rust as well. So I'm going to show you the results of that, and the decision of whether the whole ground circuit is good. Alright, so there's the full circuit. So it looks like, again, it's a 0 ohms resistance between the component and the chassis. So that's a good thing.